must come in it. The bibs and the jackets. You've heard a lot about them. You've seen them in the magazines and what these flotation suits are. For people that do a lot of snowmobiling on the ice in the wintertime, Minnesota and Wisconsin, how this snowmobile suit works. It sells foam. And it's available from most snowmobile dealers. Mustang representative Tom Anderson.
I'm going to watch this.
Look for the passenger bus he's working in front of. And it's going to be demonstrated by Mark Smell, watercross chairman for the Fox Lake, Illinois watercross. That's number 14 and 15. Hosted by the River Bandit Snowmobile Club. That's the club that has Fox Lake, the Snowhawks does Jefferson, the Snow Drifters does America. Again, it's Mark Smell with a regular snowmobile suit. You'll show. Check that Mustang snowmobile suit out. Now, there's the jackets and the bibs and everything. Either way, it keeps you on top of the water. As I was saying, folks, earlier, now these guys are making it look environment with medical personnel and retrievers on hand, and of course, done in the summertime. So all of you that are snowmobilers that do ride in the Mark is a main part of our IWA association. And the folks, it is available at your snowmobile dealers. Check out their display. Here on the grounds. Mark, if you keep coming up here, then we can talk to the PA. Over there by the beer stand. Dan Johnson and Jeff Boyle on this one. DJ on a World Series point champion sled. And Jeff Boyle on a machine with a jugsaw reverse. The pipes go to the back under the seat. The cars are sticking to the front. This is the drag sled that Mike knows. You got two fast sleds. That's Johnson in the lead. Boyle running second. Johnson with a lead. Boyle going to cut across the way. Oh, boy. Well, 7 years ago in Milton, Ontario, Mark Mankey did it, and he kept on going. Boyle will advance. Well, he'll get first. But until he does in the next spurt. Now, Y101 Pro Racing.
You should have heard Boston in the bar. Looking good.
Still running even after today.
Seventh annual Vintage Snowmobile Show at Waconia, Minnesota. It's a beautiful day out here today. It's about 25 degrees, no wind, just a perfect day. As you can see, there's a lot of snowmobiles out here. There's probably about 250 snowmobiles altogether out here. And there's a lot of people out here. This is kind of an overview of the place and where it's at. Hello. Take a look at some of the snowmobiles around here. There's some of the previous winning snowmobiles. Scorpion, TX Polaris, Arctic Cat, and the Thunderjet that's been here last year, and a Polaris Racer. They have some mini snowmobiles out here.
Mom, can I sit on that thing? Would I break it?
Don't sit on it.
Does it look like what your snowmobile to me? Right? Okay. Like that. Which one do you want? Cut, cut. That's it. Cut.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
There's a wrap, Snow Blazer, little TX, Snow Tamer, Snow Blazer. Some kind of mini snowmobile. There's a feature snowmobile, it's the Skidoo. There's a bunch in the first row right here. We're going to go take a quick look through them here. Racer. antique, pre-1967 restored. It's a 1962 Autobahn. Let's see what year it is. It's a 1964. Don't know what this is. Fox track. Briskadoos. Single ski in the front. There's an old Scorpion. Party cat. I don't know what that is. Teeny. Teeny, it's called. Another Scorpion. Party cat. Key. Skidoo. Flares. Skidoos. These are racers. Couple Polaris's, 3 Polaris's, Articat 3. Snowjet, Thunderjet, some kind of a Polaris. Going down the line here, Scorpion Whip, Mercury Twister, Vintage Race, Scorpion, Polaris, Yamaha, real rare. EMF Skedaddler. And some Articats. Chaparral, 3-cylinder, very rare. Articat.
We were down there. There was a guy, 2 guys standing there, 1 guy. Oh.
Yes, these are the ones he was talking about before.
So,
Oh, okay.
My friend, he's
Evan Road Skeeter.
That's exactly how that is.
There's a Hornet. Rupp. Moto ski. Skidoos. There's an Eskimo. That's called an Eskimo. There's the back of Eskimo.
Maybe we should race it. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty gold.
Yeah.
Snow prints,
Yeah. Can you get a picture by it?
the home light, home lights, snow prints. The snow prints, Scorpion, Evan Rood. Some kind of an enclosed snowmobile. Really neat. Skidoo, Scorpion. Skidoo with a sleigh. Arctic Cat. Sears. Johnson Ski Horse. Nutter Johnson. Evan Rood. Evan Rood. Skidoo, and that's it, I guess. More snowmobiles. There's a Scorpion, a couple Johnsons, Chaparrals. Okay. Snowjet 74 SST. Husky. Polaris. Steve West Massey Ferguson. Aaron's. Raider. You guys leaving with a snowmobile. Scorpion, Aaron's, Arctic Cat, and a Raider. Two Harley Davidsons with Harley Davidson sleighs.
Yeah. This is like the one. This is one in better shape than the other one.
Notice there's a mannequin in that one sleigh. Viking. There's the Harley Davidsons with the sleighs. Beautiful. Viking. Okay, here's the Grand Prix. We'll go around the back here. Field Grand Prix. Eliminator beside it. Here. Mercury. That's Dolphin. Some Scorpions. Ruts. Yamaha Racer. Scorpions. Arctic Cat.
You have things on the back like that?
Scorpion. Columbia. I wonder who that is. And that 72 Hot Rod SST. Wow, heck with it. I'm going to kind of record down here. Arctic Cat, Raider, pretty snowmobile, Mercury, Polaris, Rupp, Mercury, Harley Davidson, Arctic Cat, Johnson, Harley Davidson, Harley Davidson, Raider, Double Road, Mercury, Raider, Mercury, Snow Twister, 73 Snowjet Westport, Arctic Cat, Snowjet 133, SS396 Snowjet, 433, 73 SST. Furniture snowmobile there. Radio controlled. Them are Jet Stars. Steven. Scorpion. Rupp. Polysocket drifter. Ross's old snowmobile. Steven's snowmobile. Arctic Cat. Scorpion. And there's an old 70 GT Snowjet. 340. Well, 70 GT Snowjet. Trail groomer. You like the snowmobiles? What's your name? I can't hear you. Okay. Bye. John Eklund's trailer.
Looks a lot nicer. Yeah.
You'll ever see. No, I disagree. His is just
John Eklund's snowmobiles that he's actually are for sale.
800 original miles.
Ours doesn't have this on it.
Yeah, ours doesn't have this
Area. It's a really nice Ford pickup. Beautiful. The area. More pictures of Lake Waconia and a vintage snowmobile meet. And a couple small planes are in here too. So.
The engine of the future is here, today. The quiet ones are coming. On snow surfaces at sea level, or 12,000 feet elevation where the air is thin and temperatures dip to 50 degrees below. With the power, the safety, the reliability to put fun and excitement into snowmobile. Since time began, man has been searching for faster and more efficient transportation. To get from one place to another by the quickest method possible. Things got rolling with the invention of the wheel. Then when he started utilizing the piston-driven combustion engine, he really began to move. But man was not satisfied with power alone. He wanted it delivered in a more compact package. And lo and behold, it was found. The engine of the future, the rotary combustion engine, delivering more power with less weight and size. What is the rotary combustion engine? This engine that has redefined the theory of power from internal combustion. It had its beginnings in Germany, more than 3 decades ago. The rotary principle was conceived in the creative mind of Felix Wankel. And when it came to the attention of Outboard Marine Corporation, it had been pioneered by NSU under the development leadership of Walter Freude. Freude's experiments in rotary combustion resulted in the KKM engine series. Soon, automotive prototypes began purring over test tracks. The NSU RO80, the Citroen M35, and the Mazda RX-2. Then in America, in 1963, Outboard Marine Corporation undertook research development and refinement of the Wankel rotary combustion engine. Not for automotive purposes, but to further enhance America's leisure time. OMC began pioneering the application of this power plant, first to the snowmobiles, and later to outboard propulsion. Since 1970, the rotary combustion engine has been establishing new performance standards for snowmobiling. And why did they choose the snowmobile as the first vehicle to be powered by a rotary combustion engine? Because this environment and the terrain the sleds were called upon to traverse offered the ruggedest tests they could undergo. The RC, the rotary combustion engine, came in a smaller package which could inspire modification of vehicular design. And it runs quieter than most other competitor snowmobiles. How quiet? In 1973, Canada and the States, where snow time is a long time, established the noise limit for snowmobiles at just over 80 decibels on the decibel meter A scale. Those sleds tested that were driven by a rotary combustion engine peaked at 77 dBA, well below the maximum noise level. And these sleds tested experienced no vibration. It is a perfectly balanced machine. There are fewer moving parts, which means less friction and wear, longer engine life. The RC has an appetite for about any gasoline. Low octane, leaded or non-leaded, and a 50-to-1 fuel-oil ratio reaffirms the engine's amazing economy record. The RC boasts of excellent torque, producing power quicker for greater response throughout the total range of speeds. There is no power lag when the machine is running in soggy slush, or over ice, mud, even on concrete highways. And when the sled skis plow into deep snow over tortuous terrain, the RC affords instant call-up of reserve power because of its continuous torque. At least partly responsible for the efficiency of the RC is the fact that the burning time for the fuel-air charge is over 270 degrees as compared to approximately 100 degrees in a piston-driven engine. Not only has the RC engine met the challenge, but in many instances has outperformed other models that are labeled high-performance sleds. How is the rotary engine so drastically different? What principle sets it apart from the conventional piston-driven combustion engine? Though highly efficient, the two-stroke piston engine, among other things, is considerably different in concept. It derives its power from an up and down movement of the pistons, while the rotary combustion principle is a whole new idea of power generation. The rotary, as its name indicates, goes round and round. There are no pistons. The intake begins when the rotor, revolving around an eccentric shaft, uncovers the intake opening, then continues until the trailing rotor closes the port. The fuel charge is compressed by the triangular rotor into a smaller space around the surface gap spark plug. At its peak, the compressed fuel mixture is fired, expanding against the turning rotor and providing the thrust that keeps the engine running. The rotor tip moves on to open the exhaust port, and its motion expels the spent gases completely before the trailing rotor tip closes the port. The result? RC engines are smoother and quieter. Yes, the RC sleds are quiet on the snow. They never invade the tranquility of nature. They blend into it. The engine of the future is here. Today, Outboard Marine Corporation's rotary combustion engines are making this year the year to put the fun and thrills into snowmobiling. This is the year of the quiet ones, the rotary combustion engines from Outboard Marine Corporation.
An exciting new winter sport is sweeping the country. Let's see what it's all about. That snowmobiling looks like it'll be fun for everyone.
January 21st. The starting line at Winnipeg. Temperature, 21 degrees below zero. Winds are 20 to 25 miles an hour. The wind factor is approaching 70 below zero. 76 drivers and machines massed at Winnipeg. Only 22 will complete the awesome, agonizing journey to St. Paul. From the instant the starting flag drops, this 500-mile cross-country race becomes a struggle for survival. Seven drivers from across the United States and Canada are aboard John Deere 340S machines, making it the most popular snowmobile in the race. The 340S earned their confidence as it stood up to constant pounding at speeds of more than 80 miles an hour over the roughest terrain in the 10-year history of the International 500. The first leg of the race stretches from Winnipeg to East Grand Forks, Minnesota, a distance of 165 miles. It was the shortest leg of the three-day race, but the coldest. The start of the race was delayed for more than an hour because of blizzard conditions near the Canadian border that reduced visibility to near zero. Had to make it to East Grand Forks in 6 hours to qualify for the second day's running. Number 349, Carol Thiessen of East Moline, Illinois, one of 2 women in the race, made it to East Grand Forks despite an injured hand, but not in time to qualify for the second day. At the Canadian-U.S. border, drivers made a brief stop and were waved on. They still had 100 miles to go to reach East Grand Forks. An earlier blizzard and sub-zero temperatures had frozen the snow into concrete-like drifts. Driving in ditches got rougher. This wrecked machine was hauled off the trail to avoid an accident. This spectacular crash left the driver shaken, but uninjured. Of Crookston, Minnesota, number 51, is among the leaders as the machines approach East Grand Forks. Cormican is a 2-time winner of the International 500, winning back-to-back races in 1968 and 1969.
Larry Bjorkland of Buffalo, Minnesota pilots his 340S across the finish line at East Grand Forks in 3 hours, 25 minutes, 40 seconds, which puts him in 9th place. Dale Cormican drove his battered machine to the finish within 50 seconds of the leader, despite 2 crashes along the way. But he was among 16 of the day's leaders who were later disqualified for rule violations. Brian Nelson of Wilmar, Minnesota drove his Spirit of Wilmar to the finish line in 3 hours, 26 minutes. Good for 10th place. Nelson was sponsored by Wilmar businessmen. John Carlson of Moline, Illinois finishes in 16th place with a time of 3 hours, 30 minutes, 20 seconds. Roger Jansen of Crookston, Minnesota followed Carlson across the line by only 34 seconds. Good for 18th place. Jim Eisenbach of Thunder Bay, Ontario finishes in 25th place. Followed by Jim Dano of Nisswa, Minnesota in 29th place. Bob Menney of Forest Lake, Minnesota congratulates an exhausted competitor at the completion of the grueling day. Willie Ansew of Oak Bluff, Manitoba crosses the line in 33rd position. 47-year-old Bill Ryman of Mansfield, South Dakota finishes in 69th place, exactly 96 seconds ahead of his 22-year-old son, Stan. For some, the day ends in heartbreak. This driver's machine fails 100 yards from the finish. Harold McQueen of Manteno, Illinois leaps to a spectacular finish. 236 racers finish in qualifying time. 129 are driving John Deere machines, led by Joel Herring of Bismarck, North Dakota, who's in 2nd place, just 4 minutes behind leader Bob Rezequis on a Polaris, who averaged 54 miles an hour. Machines qualifying for the 2nd day are impounded, and mechanics, the unseen heroes of the race, are given only 2 hours to prepare the snowmobiles for the 2nd day. Frostbitten, battered drivers who had hoped for better weather on the 2nd day were disappointed. Sub-zero temperatures continued, and a 40-mile-an-hour wind whipped the snow, reducing visibility to 0. The race was delayed for more than an hour until the starter's flag dropped. The 2nd leg stretches 207 miles from East Grand Forks to Alexandria. It's the longest, toughest day of the race. Snow in the ditches is rock hard, causing injury to drivers and tremendous damage to skis, tracks, and suspension. The poor visibility causes many drivers to get lost, like these two who miss a turn and head down the wrong side of the road. Roger Jensen, who started in 18th place, is rapidly moving up on the leaders. But number 22, Larry Bjorklund, who started in 9th position, was unable to complete this leg of the race. The long, treacherous trail began to take its toll early in the day, and before it was over, 199 of the 236 starters either failed to make it to Alexandria or got there too late to qualify for the last day. Bassett, number 217, arrives at a fuel stop. He has taken over the lead from first day leader Bob Przekwis, who has dropped out. John Carlson has moved up from 16th position and arrives at the pit stop only minutes behind the leaders. Looked picturesque and serene. Deep ruts and bumps made the narrow, twisting trail hazardous. Some drivers lost the trail in the woods. Shane Crisp of Bellevue, Manitoba guns his 340S in excess of 70 miles an hour. The last several miles to the finish line were over snow-covered Lake Darling. Bert Bassett crosses the finish line with only one ski. He was suffering from a severely cut lip, which required 16 stitches to close. His total elapsed time for the 2 days was 8 hours, 52 minutes, 5 seconds. Ed Monsrud finishes in second place, 3 minutes behind Bassett, followed by Leroy Rust, who places third for the second day. John Carlson continues his assault on the leaders, driving his number 54 from 16th position at the start of the second leg to 4th place by the end of the day. Carlson has the fastest total time of any John Deere driver for the 2 days. 9 hours, 28 minutes, 40 seconds. Number 166, Ron Reimer of Steinbach, Manitoba, barrels his 340S from 31st place all the way up to finish 5th behind Carlson. Roger Jansen lets it all hang out and drives his number 52 from 18th to 10th position the second day. And young Brian Nelson maintains the pace with a 14th place finish. Willie Ansue relaxes a moment too soon and flips at the finish line, but not before he had moved into 16th position after starting the day back in 33rd. John Deere 340Ss continued to demonstrate remarkable durability over the machine-shattering course, qualifying 19 machines out of the total 37 for the second day. The weather finally takes a turn for the better as the remaining 37 drivers line up for the third and final leg to St. Paul, 180 miles away. John Carlson seems totally relaxed at the starting line just prior to the green flag. Roger Jansen has a last-minute conversation. Here's another sled that will cross the finish line at St. Paul. That's me, Jim Orr from Davenport, Iowa. Once away from the start, Jansen starts to pour it on. At one point, a state patrolman timed Jansen's machine at a breathtaking 84 miles an hour. Roger Jansen's torrid pace brings him into the pit stop only seconds behind the leader for the day. A hurried check of his machine and he's on his way towards St. Paul. Brian Nelson, so close to being among the handful of finishers at St. Paul, did not finish the race. Thousands of enthusiastic race fans await the racers at the finish line on Lake Phelan in St. Paul. Headed for the finish line is Ed Monsrud, the first sled to cross the line and the winner of the race, with the fastest total time for the 3 days. Roger Jensen flies over the lake, the second machine across the line for the day, despite the fact he was lost for about 15 minutes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I had a little tough luck out there today. I was leading the race for a while, and the Polaris I was leading, no, excuse me, I'm getting my story a little mixed up. I was leading the race, he got ahead of me, and then I think he broke a belt, and I got ahead of him, and I no more got ahead of him, and the guy sent me off in the wrong direction, and I was lost for about 15 minutes, and I flagged a support helicopter down. He landed, and I asked him which way to go, so he said, "You follow me." So I followed him back to the course, and I figure I lost 15 to 20 minutes. Otherwise, I should have had a 15 to 20 minute being the first sled here.
Would that make you the winner, do you think?
It would have made me pretty darn close.
How do you think it is right now? You're second across the line.
I don't know. I would say I should be running in 5th place. I predicted that last night. Today the trail was badly marked. The people were standing around the roadside and so bad you couldn't even see the stop signs. I was very disappointed when I got out in the lead and there was no signs left. I don't know who took them down, if it was kids that took them down, if it was some mad drivers last night that didn't make it in time that took them down, or if the sheriff didn't get out in time and put them up. But it was really heartbreaking.
Well, that's a shame. I think you did marvelously well just to get here like you did.
Well, I was trying to win that 10,000 bucks, and it's hard to do it when you're heading in the wrong direction.
That's a true story. Can I ask you about your sled? How do you like that, John Deere?
I've rode a lot of snowmobiles, and I like every snowmobile I rode, but she's the one I'd own if I ever had to buy one.
That's good.
She's the best sled out.
I heard you say a minute ago that it was knocking a little bit, Raj, is it?
There wasn't I'll tell you what it is. I got a high-speed sprocket in there, and she's got to make such a big turn that I think I've been jamming the brakes on, and I've been hitting the bump so hard that I think I broke some teeth out of my top sprocket. But as far as the motor, it's running just as good now as the minute I left the starting line in Winnipeg.
Well, you sure came across that line like gangbusters, Raj, and even if you don't take that first money, you got to get something for even competing in this thing. And I'd just like to ask you one question. You're from Crookston, Minnesota.
Yes.
And may I just ask you why you got into the race?
Well, I've started racing snowmobiles about, I've raced professionally for 8 years. And this Winter Carnival race is a good race to pick yourself up some money if you got a good machine. And with this John Deere, I had a pretty darn good chance.
Well, that's good. Roger, you're kind of shivering, and I don't blame you. Why don't you go and get warm, and we thank you very much for talking with us.
Okay.
John Carlson of Moline, Illinois, crosses the line in third position.
You have any idea where you are as far as your placement is concerned in the race?
Oh, I think up around second, third, or fourth. It's somewhere in that bracket. I hope I am at least.
Tell me, what's it like out there? The first day it was 20 below zero, and
I think the first day was probably my best day. I think I turned my best time the first day. The second day was a day of survival. If a guy could survive and still keep a pretty good pace going, he'd do all right the second day. That's what I tried to do. I wish now I would have had just a little bit more energy to turn around just a little bit harder the second day. I probably could have won this race, but that's next year. Today...
What was so hard about the second day?
Oh, the drifts were just like concrete. The wind was blowing. Marking was poor. Just overall, general, tough, hard cross-country racing.
How did your machine perform for you?
Didn't miss a lick the whole trip. There's 599 exact miles on it right now, and she didn't miss a lick the whole trip. The second day, about the last 50 miles, I just was barely hanging on the handlebars. It hurt so bad.
What caused the greatest attrition? Was it the weather, or was it the trail, or what was it?
The trail. I didn't mind the weather a bit. I'm used to the weather. The trail was just real tough.
Did you have difficulty finding your way?
Yeah, I got lost twice today and 3 or 4 times the first day.
Are people moving flags, or why is that?
Oh, people are generally just sitting in their car not telling the racer which way to go. And so the racer follows the track so it can be made from a snowmobile club or the guys out the night before, you know.
And this is Jim Orr, another John Deere driver in the St. Paul Winter Carnival Snowmobile Race, 1975. And he's standing here shivering. How was the weather on this last leg?
Last day was great. Yesterday was the worst, but today was like a Sunday drive compared to yesterday.
Why was yesterday so bad?
Oh, it was so long, and the drifts were so bad, and it was so rough, and most of it was in the ditches, and it was just really just physically punishing, you know. Today was not that bad. There's a lot of road running today. They had us marked up on the roads quite a few places.
Fourth prize, Roger Jansen. And Roger, in addition to your trophy, our check for $1,500. Congratulations.
On a John Deere with an elapsed time of 14 minutes, 9 minutes, 26 seconds, John Robert Carlson. Mr. Bell is handing Mr. Carlson a check for $2,000.
Bert Bassett accepts his trophy for second place. And winner Ed Monsrud collects his trophy. Of the 22 men and machines that survived the 552 miles to the checkered flag at St. Paul, 12 were John Deere 340S's.